right.
Yeah.
We are on air now.
We are on the air.
So this is the prelude,
Yeah.
introduction.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
This time we don't have 30 people playing zombies.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have
You don't need
cluster truck.
You don't need to see the test.
Yeah, you don't need to see the
Yeah,
test phase
no,
of what was
wait.
going
That
on.
was
We had an interesting
yeah.
time.
Ella says, "Whoo." Oh, this is
So
off to-
that's quite the time to slip up.
right. It's like
Yeah, no, the only time I've cursed recently is on air.
on air. Yeah, the test footage that we were planning on doing, but then we realized that your phone got the 20% battery.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like skips. If my phone does that, I'm gonna be really disappointed. Disappointed in my phone.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll be disappointed in your life choices. I mean, what?
What?
Nothing.
How would that? What does
I
my
have
life
no
choices
idea.
have to do with anything?
That's a great question.
I mean, honestly, Ken, how can you not see the direct correlation between the things
Oh
you
yeah,
have done
but between the electronic I didn't make,
and the life choices that you have decided to go down?
yeah,
Well,
up until
yeah, well,
this point.
you
There's a
chose
direct
iPhone.
correlation.
What do you mean? Don't you have an iPhone too? You have an iPhone 13. We literally talked about it
I
earlier.
hate it.
You hate it?
No, I love it.
It's a great
I was like, it is a great phone. I love my phone. And I have Jesus in the back. You can't see it, but
I just realized I'm wearing a paint-covered T-shirt.
that's all right.
That's totally fine.
I mean,
It makes sense for me.
I was gonna say it fits.
It makes sense.
yeah, I was about to say. I mean,
It's a good representation.
yeah, those cups like sweat all the time.
They don't
They have
sweat.
sweat glands?
No, you don't. You don't call that sweat.
No,
You don't call that like when the
Yes,
cup gets
yes, I
cold.
do.
Okay,
Yes,
see,
I
I'm not
do.
the only one.
no, that's not what I call it.
What do you
Look,
call it?
I
Cam,
call
this
it
is
what
a
it's
safe
called.
place.
I call it condensation.
You're a nerd. I'm sorry.
You are a nerd.
Yes, and I wear that badge quite proud. I have a Yoru pen on
You
my
know what?
jacket.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. That was a horrible high five.
Well, that's because I'm trying
'cause I
not to.
missed
I'm
the
so
ring.
glad that that's not what we're trying to do for the clap.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm trying not to.
Awful.
I'm trying not to murder his head with my.
Did you not see what happened when we clapped the first time?
Bro,
He
because
straight
we
thumb
like
bone
missed,
with the
so I
ring.
just smacked him
Like
straight. in the head.
straight thumb bone with that ring.
It's like a 50-50 chance.
You do it
that, like,
every time. Every time we're in the gather.
Shall we start?
It's because you have beer. Yeah.
Well, I thought we've been starting.
Well, I mean, like actually.
Oh, like actually
introduce
doing
and
what we planned to do? Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
we're still leaving that in.
This is the.
I don't need
This
to
is the
re-
pre-show.
I don't need to like re-clap or anything.
No.
Okay.
Because once we sync the audio,
It'll just
it'll
synced.
just stay synced.
So
Hopefully.
it'll be easier that way at least.
Well, they saw our goofy side already.
That's true.
But yeah, so I'm the host, Cameron.
I'm the co-host Jack.
I don't know what my job is.
You're
No,
our
no.
producer.
I'm the
Basically
producer
the producer.
and co-host.
Co-co-host.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Let's go. Occasionally.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Maybe. I don't know. Depends on how long they keep me around.
We got like a 2-week contract.
Yeah.
And then
We're gonna have to renew your contract.
Yeah, no more pizza for you.
You just go through grab. It's like no, stop. No pizza for you. You didn't re-sign.
you didn't sign the new
But
contract.
Antonio doesn't even have a contract. He just grabs a slice.
He doesn't even do anything here.
I set up the mics.
I set up the mics and I edit.
I do the audio. I do everything.
I do everything but what you do.
And sometimes I do what you do.
You're doing it right now.
All you guys do is talking to the mic and eat, and I'm doing all
I
the
make you
work.
sound pretty.
I make sure the people can
A
hear.
producer in pizza makes you the speaker you ain't.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is our podcast. Right now it's called The Unbound Path. Name could change. Don't quote us.
On anything.
On anything, yeah.
Ever.
But
Except
yeah.
for the Bible.
Except for the Bible.
Except the Bible. We didn't write that though.
No, certainly
But
not.
you can quote us quoting the Bible.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah,
Just
these
not our quotes about the Bible.
No.
No.
We're not liable for any of that. No.
We are human.
That being said, test everything that we say. If you think it's good, test it against the Lord, and if it comes back good, good. And we're
Eventually-
hoping the Lord blesses the whole podcast as a whole.
Yeah.
And none of it's bad. But we are human.
We are in fact.
Cam especially is human.
I'm very human.
Why did you just call him out?
Eventually, we will have a prayer request and testimony email. I'm still setting all of that up.
For now, put it in the comments.
Yeah, for now, comments. Oh, Zoe sent me a link of how to upload on Spotify, too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
I still think YouTube is a good...
Well, yeah, it'll be a good
Spotify is good, too, though.
Yeah.
Podcasts
The Apple
Spotify
one, we won't
boring.
mess with the Apple one for right now. I don't even know how that works.
No.
I don't.
No,
I think
certainly not.
Well, I
But
think,
there is an app.
no, it's like
actually-
a podcast. Like I use the app, but I don't know
No,
how.
there's an app that you can upload either music or podcasts, and it uploads it to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Music all at one time.
Yeah.
You just uploads that, and it just
Although I
shotgun blast
think
of
we should
music.
start like here where God puts us,
Yeah.
rather than reach for the
And then we
stars. And God's like, hey, you got to slow your roll.
Oh, you think you're that important?
you think you're already that? All right, buddy.
All right.
Let's
buddy.
knock you down a few
let's
notches.
Let's knock you
step
down a few
back
notches.
here.
You're not supposed to be up there.
But yeah, so basically, this is a podcast. It's God centered. I mean, we'll just be straight up and honest about that.
It's probably a good thing.
Probably a good idea.
But there will be, I mean, I'll talk about football, probably rant about Anthony Richardson being benched. Still the worst decision the Colts have ever made.
Cam.
I'm sorry.
It's your podcast. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're not making a sports
no,
podcast.
I'm
You can do anything.
That'll be for episode 1.
Save that for later.
No, but yeah, so this is just going to be a podcast. We already have some plans that I think are really good.
Yeah.
We won't spoil. No spoilers here.
Never.
Except the little spoilers, because that's the point of an introduction.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to be like, all right, so this is how episode 1's going to go. 2 and 3.
Let me tell you about episode 4.
Oh, we can't wait for that one.
Have we even thought that far ahead?
No, we barely.
Yes.
Yes, we actually have entire season 1. It's already done, actually. We actually already filmed it.
How many episodes do we do a season?
400. I hope you have enough energy, because we actually do 2 a days. Look at his face.
Look at his face. Bro, it's just like, oh no, what have I signed up for?
I need to go home.
Wait, you said 2 week notice?
I still get paid, right?
I had to rediscuss my contract.
But yeah, I mean,
Yes, your hourly rate of $0 an hour. Yes, you do get paid.
yeah, you're making the big bucks here, man.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the gathering, since that's kind of where all this stemmed from? I mean, that's where I met both of you.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into detail as much as we did the test.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could
Just talk about what the gathering is.
Yeah, so you've been there longer, so if you want to talk about what the gathering is,
Yeah,
or
it's
if you
almost
want
like
one of
I've
us.
led.
I was gonna say, it's almost like you're one of the founders.
It's almost like you're one of the founders.
Except I'm not a founder. God is the founder, and then
Well,
Nate.
yeah, but like,
And then after Nate, there's like,
Like,
well,
whole
actually,
host of-
Nate's brother, and then Nate, and then somewhere down the line, there's me, and it's like, guy who's there.
you're still
almost
like
every
higher
week.
than, but you're still like, I mean, I don't want to put it
There's
as
no
in,
like
I mean,
hierarchy.
No, I know there's no hierarchy.
There is, because you have to have leaders to keep something.
you've
staying
been
the
a
same.
leader longer than most people there.
That's valid.
That's what I was trying to
That's
get.
a valid.
That's the point I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Yeah, so the gathering is an undesignated time of worship and prayer that we do in the greater Indianapolis area. It's quite literally that. It started as for high schoolers, and now it's for high school and college, and really occasionally anybody who wants to see it and wants to be there and experience God. It's just a time that's not churchy, that's not preachy, that's not anything else. It started as run by students for students, and it was no time to like. A lot of people have issues with run by students for students because then it's students preaching to students. But that wasn't the point of the gathering. The point of the gathering was to worship, and so it was being led in worship, either by students or through even just music playing on a speaker.
Yeah.
And then from that, afterwards we go into prayer, and prayer is really hard to be real and true without being real and true. Like, it's kind of hard to do prayer fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't
and
really
do it
fake
wrong.
that.
Like, you can't really do prayer wrong.
Yeah. Especially at the gathering, because it's like every kind of prayer you can imagine.
Yeah. And that's the importance, and that was the reason for it. Because what Nate noticed and what I noticed, and why when he invited me, I said I'm going to be here as almost every single day unless I'm out of the country or with my family.
Yeah.
Which has stayed true.
Which has stayed true.
I've only probably missed, like the most I've missed in a row, I think was this last stint that I was gone.
4
which
weeks.
was like 4 weeks. Other than that, I'm there every week. But yeah, so it started as that time because what we noticed is in high school, when Nate and I were in high school, that we noticed people like went to their church youth groups and stuff like that to hang out with friends. Because the sermons that were being spoken and the things that were being talked about weren't real. They weren't interesting. They didn't feel close to who they were and what they were going through because they were being preached at and not taught with.
Yeah.
So Nate decided to do what his brother used to do and start undesignated time of worship and prayer on Friday nights. The reason he did it on Friday nights at 7:14 is
the
because
timings are weird.
Yeah, it required people to sacrifice the thing that was important in high school. A Friday night. A Friday night is like when everybody, if you go to church, you don't have church in the morning, Saturday morning. No. Saturday, you usually have time to like hang out and be free.
Do what you want.
And so Fridays is like, you're out of school, you can stay up late, you can like, Fridays are the night everybody either goes to go hang out with their friends, go to a basketball game, football game, whatever. Dances, stuff like that is usually on like Friday nights. They're like key nights for high schoolers.
Yeah.
And so the reason he did it on Friday nights is so only the people that wanted God would show up.
Yeah.
Because on a Sunday, when the only thing to do with your friends is church, people go to church to hang out with their friends. And so the gathering was this place of, no, this is the people that are hungry and are sacrificing something to be here with God. Not saying those people aren't real Christians who don't go, just saying that the gathering is a saturated place full of people chasing after God and after the Spirit. And that's the beautiful thing from it. And that's why people come back. Is because it's so real and so true and so God-focused and nothing else. Yeah. It's not about you. Like that is...
And it never is either.
Yeah. And for a time it started to be because of leadership stuff and things like that. But then I talked to Nate and he was like, I'm going to remind you of the vision because I was about to leave the gathering, actually, from leadership. Because of where it was going, I was like, everybody else is leading it this way, but like, I want it to stay where it's supposed to be, which is just worship and prayer.
Is it kind of like how it is now?
How it is now is what it started as.
And you wanted it to stay.
And I wanted it to stay that way because that was the point, was for it to stay that way, and it started to kind of grow into a preachy, more youth group sort of feel where people are just hanging out. And the reason we started going to Culver's is so we could hang out after the gathering. So that the true connection between the person and God, the individual who was there and God, stayed true. Mm-hmm. And then you could go and then you could talk about it and love on each other and be friends and all of those things afterwards.
Culver's.
At Culver's or at wherever.
Now it's full of high school football people.
Well, that's how it was. But we also, during football season, our numbers at the gathering used to drop to like 6. Mm-hmm. Which shows you the growth that we've had in the last 3 years.
Now there's 143 members on the group me.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's probably a handful.
There's probably 20 to 30 people every week.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, well, there's also like ridiculous, actually. Like the number of people who are just consistently there every single week is ridiculous.
Well, and there's also like a handful of people that aren't in the group me.
Yeah.
Like that haven't been put in the group me yet.
Well, and the crazy part is we're seeing people who were going and now are going into college starting the gathering at other colleges.
Yeah, like
in other places.
There's so many people, and I mean,
there's one at GCU. If anybody listening goes to GCU, check out my boy Jackson, Jackson Cox. Yeah,
I think there was an all-girl one. I forget who started that.
Her name's Campbell. I forget what college she goes to, but she's doing a.
I know it's out of state.
Yeah,
I know it's out of state.
Yeah, and I think for a bit, Kendall Hickey. Mm-hmm. I think she was doing one for a bit too, wherever she went. I forget where she goes. I think maybe Ball State.
There's a lot of college kids that are starting.
Yeah, but that just shows you how impactful it is.
Right.
Even the people who are leaving are continuing it all.
Are like spreading.
Which is the goal of the gathering. It's not to be one place where you have to be with these people, like where Nate or I or Justin or any of those people have to be leading it. Like it could be anybody. That's why we have Paxton and Gabe leading now.
Yeah.
It's like that's such an important part of it. And that's the vision of the gathering, is that it grows to the point where it's something bigger than the individual. But yeah, so out of the gathering and out of this time of connection, it's about connection with the individual and to worship with the Lord. And then from that, we go into regular life with those people we worshipped with and connected with God alongside of, that the fruit grows.
And hang out after and outside of the gathering.
And one of the fruits and the products of this, is where I was going with this, is this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
literally.
is beautiful and lovely and important. And it would never have happened if Nate wasn't like, man, I want something different, but there's nothing different out there. So I'm going to make something different.
Yeah.
And he did. And he's gone. He's in California.
He's in California, Bethel.
Yeah. For the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's not
Really?
been there.
Yeah,
It's been 2 years?
Well, because he did the DTS in 2023, beginning of 2023. He went and did a DTS. Then he came back for a couple months, and then he left again.
Yep.
And he came back for a little bit in the summer, and then left again.
I mean, yeah, without him starting it, I would have never met either of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and Jack and I live in the same neighborhood. We didn't even
Yeah,
know.
I remember you guys telling me that last time, because you were doing, I think you were watching him play Cluster Truck or something, and I was talking to you, you were at work. That's what it was. You weren't here yet. And he goes, me and Jack live in the same neighborhood. I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, so Jack...
Yeah, he lives
Jack,
literally a
Ella,
minute from
and
my
me
house.
all live in the same neighborhood. Although it's actually 3 different neighborhoods, but it's the same group.
It's the same little subject. Yeah, you live literally within a minute of my house.
That's it. Don't say the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah. So without the gathering, none of this would have happened.
Well, I mean, without God, too.
Well, yeah. Well, without God, the
gathering would have never happened. And then, because, God definitely...
It's all a trickle-down effect.
Well, because it took... What it took, which is wild. Think about this. Nate's brother, Matthew, it took his situation to have his parents have the service in their basement with 50 people in their basement. And then Nate's older brother to say, I want to do this every week. To then Nate growing up in that, to do it on his own because... the other churches weren't fulfilling that part.
In that same basement.
In the same basement. And then it took him meeting me at another church and inviting me to it, which brought Justin and I alongside of it, which just took off.
It's like a spider web.
And now Justin's in Spain.
And he's doing his mission.
And so all of that is from God, and only God could turn a situation like Matthew's.
Oh, yeah.
Into... this wouldn't happen without Matthew.
No.
And he had no idea. Which is the craziest part.
Yeah.
And if you ever have Nate on here or something, I'm sure he can tell Matthew's story. I don't feel...
It's not really out of a respect thing, I don't want to say anything.
Just being brief about it.
Yeah.
I mean, just said his name. That's it. But
let's say that. Yeah. That's. I don't think that's my place to say.
Yeah, no,
I don't think
we don't have to go into that.
No. Yeah,
but I do think that whole explanation I think is a good segue into you already kind of said it before, but again, just the idea of this podcast, God's growth in you allowed him to give you the vision of doing this.
It's I surrendered February. Of this month, February of this month, of this year.
That's how that works.
February 2024. I was about to be like, "Where's my phone?" It's up there. It was right before the breakup, the week before.
Yeah,
and he took a really bad situation that was eating me alive, making me trickle back down into my depression that I crawled out of the first time. And that's what really got me to know you guys, because when I was with her, sorry, I'm moving this. You're good.
Just a little more.
when I was with her, I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I only talked to the people that she talked to, and even then, I still didn't really talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But God, obviously, He knew that He was going to put you in my life. Mm-hmm. So He was like, "Unfortunately, Cam, I gotta do this." And
He's like, "Hey, buddy."
It took a long time for me to get over that.
It's been a ride.
It's been a ride.
And during that time, I thought my world was ending, and I see now that it was just a storm, but that storm needed to happen to help me grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like sucky situation,
Yeah.
horrible situation for both me and her. And I wish her the best. I hope she's doing good in college. But for me, like, I'm focusing on this.
Yeah.
Like, my growth with God, getting to know you guys better, like, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, none of this would have happened if we didn't break up.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds, none of this would have happened.
I mean, that's also my story, though. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the only 2 other people I've dated.
Yeah, I've really only dated one person.
Yeah. But, like, I've been in 2 horrible situations.
Same.
Both of which they blamed me when it was their fault. And I was like, I dealt with that after my first girlfriend, I didn't date for another 3 years.
I won't say any about my situation.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea for me to say much about mine.
It's totally fine.
That's
Who
what
in the
happened.
red zone. Sorry, fantasy football.
Yeah. So like, I mean, that led to some really dark times in my life, which
I'm trying to move my hoodie.
Which then led me to change churches.
Literally me.
In which
I literally had to change churches.
No, and then I went to Antioch, where I met Nate.
Nate, yeah.
Where I subsequently got invited to the gathering.
That's so cool.
Who I'm dating now and will most likely end up marrying, I met because she and Nate went to the same school for 1 year. And in that year, he happened to invite her to the gathering.
And then
to which she showed
met.
up. Well, we actually met 13 years ago.
Huh.
In the Dominican Republic.
That's crazy.
Dang.
We can talk about that story some other time.
Yeah.
But,
No.
But that's like, all of that only happened because my first girlfriend broke up with me. And then the second one wouldn't have brought me to the connection that we have, Cam, because you were going through what you were going through with your whole situation. And I was able, because of my issues and my faults and the things I'd learned the hard way, help walk with you through that, which grew our friendship. And I learned a lot from you in the same way of like, oh wait, that's how I should be processing this. like 6 years later.
Well, you both, especially you, can agree. I was making every wrong decision I could. Like, I was like, it literally is like, let's go gambling. Every single bad decision.
It was a movie
That was a really
script.
good noise. You actually did that like spot on.
It was a movie script of just like every fault you could hope from a protagonist in like a tragic story of redemption.
It happened
right
like
there.
boom.
Because I mean, like, again, I mean, I've told you this 1,000 times, but like, literally been there, done
I know.
that. Like,
But because it was so hard for me to believe it, because I was like, well, it's not exactly the same, so like, you don't truly understand. Because I was like, no, that's no diss on you. Like, I'm not trying to sound mean, but that's how I thought, because I was still caught up. I was still whatever the saying is. I was still like.
In the heat of the moment. Sorry.
I was still in love. I still had feelings.
Yeah.
Even though I had my own problems with my family. She had her own problems with her family. I was getting this. So I was taking a big leap in my life. She was taking a big leap in her life with college. And I mean, I told her like originally that I was like, I think we could do it. I don't think we could. Because her being at college, dealing with that, me being here, dealing with this, like the apartment, not the podcast.
I think you could have done it. I don't think you could have done it well.
Yeah.
And I don't think you would have grown as much as you did.
No, certainly not. I mean, yeah. Like the thing is, like, again,
this is no offense to her.
no, of course not. No,
not at all.
absolutely
Not at all.
nothing against her at all. Like,
Dude, no offense to my exes.
right, same. Like,
Well, one of them maybe, but I'll leave that up to them.
I don't talk to the 2 long distance ones that were like a month long. So it's like
Mine was 2 years.
I've never lasted a true year because I don't want to say her name because it's a respect thing. But it was 6 months.
Yeah.
It was coming up on 7. But we still talked past a year.
Yeah.
But we didn't, I've never been with someone more than 6.5 months.
Huh.
Never.
Yeah.
I've not had great luck with girls, probably because God knows that I don't need that right now. God was like, listen, you got some things to do, man. Slow down.
No, I know that feeling.
I got some things I got to work out with you before we go on to that field. Though.
Well, yeah, because I remember in middle school, I asked, I think, every single girl out in my grade because I just wanted a girlfriend so bad.
That's crazy.
And God
was wild with it.
Bro was
got
just like,
rejected
all right,
by
here
every
we
single
go.
one.
It's funny.
I mean, not that, now thinking back on it, I was like, what was I doing? What are you doing?
Bro was on a mission.
Yeah. Bro
And
was
failed every mission, but
Mission failed. We'll get messed
this
up.
is a great introduction.
Yeah, no, just get it all out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the
this
whole
is
point
what
of
led to it.
I'll say this is the whole point of this episode is to get to know the core, the trio that are probably going to be on most, if not all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I won't be on camera.
Yeah,
Most
he'll
of the time.
probably be off camera, but
Unless you want me on, then I'll be on,
unless
but-
you want to be on, we're not gonna say no.
I was just saying, we don't bro. This is just to have obviously this is God centric, but
Yeah,
the other part of this is we're just here to have fun, bro.
Yeah. And I think
we are
that's,
vibing.
That's so important. I think a lot of podcasts are either only entertainment or only professional or spiritual or whatever you want to call it. To have something that's both is hard to do.
Yeah.
And unique to do.
Well, this is definitely not gonna be easy, at all, because you have a job, I have a job, you have a job, so we have to work around that. Then think about, okay, well, does one of us have work in the morning?
Yeah.
So we can't stay up late because it's already 9:23. But I don't really care.
That's nothing.
Yeah, it's not that.
There's a thing called coffee.
that is a terrible solution. Don't
I did that for a while.
Bad idea.
I
Do not
used to
endorse.
consume 700 milligrams of
Oh
caffeine
my.
a day.
Okay, I'm not that bad. I drink
How are
one
you
cup
not
of coffee.
dead?
That's what I'm saying.
That was my high school right there.
You did that in high school?
Oh, dude.
Bro walked in with a Starbucks cup and had a pot of coffee in his bag.
No, it was all energy drinks, which is even worse.
No.
Yeah, it's even
Bro
worse.
walked in like a crackhead, just
You remind me of my friend Max, who might watch these. I don't know. I'm going to share it with him. But he drank 2 G Fuels, 2 Monsters, and another energy drink in 2 hours.
Rookie numbers.
2 hours.
What's that, 800 milligrams?
It's a lot. I mean, I could
2
just look it
hours?
up on this. G Fuel was the worst one.
My record in 2 hours.
Should I be scared?
absolutely.
So you know milligrams of caffeine, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what's an average cup of coffee? 90, I think.
Something like
Don't
that.
quote me on that. 80 to 90.
I don't know. I don't drink coffee.
A regular Monster is 150. Then they have the 300. What is it?
Well, this is G Fuel. It's up to 150 milligrams of caffeine.
That's what a Monster is.
Yeah, that's what Monster is.
It's a monster. I can look up coffee.
Red Bull's 90, I think, or 100. Coffee's,
Which is
I
all
want to say 80 to 90.
it's all ridiculous. But anyway,
Yeah, no, it's all ridiculous. And then there's this.
Coffee's 95.
Yeah,
There you go.
there's this other brand called Rain. Rain does 300 milligrams
Ooh,
per.
I'd be like,
My record,
oh no.
1.08 grams.
Oh my. Your heart hated you.
In 2 hours.
Oh,
And you know what I did after those 2 hours? Because that was during a theater show where basically everybody on my side of the stage, we did this huge big set and like had a bunch of moving parts and everything. They either were just in the way because they didn't pay attention to what they were supposed to be doing the whole time, so I just kicked them out, or they didn't show up. And so it was 2 people running a 5-man set on one side. Yeah. And so I was on that because I had to be. And you know what I did after what we do after the theater shows is we would always go to IHOP.
Oh.
Right? So we go hang out at IHOP. After,
drink
after
3 cups of coffee.
2.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
So I went back. I went to IHOP and then I had another almost 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Dog, I drank 2 Celsiuses the other day, and
like 70.
Yeah, they're like the lower end of energy drinks, and I was like shaking really bad. Like I was shaking at the gathering because that was my second one.
Yeah.
I didn't even finish it.
Bro,
Mainly because I forgot it in the basement. It's still in the basement, by the way. I forgot to get it on Saturday.
The craziest part is that was like my whole high school, because my schedule was I'd get to school at 7 because I had jazz band before everything else started.
Yeah,
an hour before school started, that was when jazz band class was at 0 period, and then after that I'd either go to lacrosse practice in the spring, or I'd have theater rehearsal after that, or I'd have theater stuff all day. So I was at school from like at least 12 hours from 7 to 7 if I was lucky. Most of the time it was like 7 to 10.
Jeez.
And so I had to, otherwise I would just crash. And then I'd go home and I'd do homework, and then I'd go to bed at 1 a.m. and get up and do it all over again and leave the house at 6:30. Like, that's just what my life was.
That's crazy.
And I got used to it. But then after I graduated, I didn't need it anymore, so I stopped drinking it. Mm-hmm. Just cold turkey. That was horrible.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that.
I didn't notice it at first because I wasn't thinking, oh, I feel like crap all the time and I don't want to get out of bed and all this stuff. Like, I wasn't thinking that was because of caffeine withdrawal. Like no. And it literally wasn't because I was addicted. A lot of people are addicted to caffeine. Mine was out of necessity. Because otherwise I would actually crash and just fall over. And that's what happened for the first 3 months out of high school. I didn't get up in the mornings. I would get up at like 1 in the afternoon, and I'd go to bed at 10. Like, that was just my life for like 2 to 3 months. Because I couldn't do anything else because my body was like, I'm dying.
That's kind of how like it was for football for mine, except my body just hurt.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't good enough to start, but I also wasn't good enough to just not be a practice dummy.
Yeah.
So I was just like the punching bag. And it was still fun. Yeah. Because I still got to hit someone.
Yeah.
Because like you would like flip-flop every time someone would go. But like the worst time I think was my friend Tristan. So it's the blue and white scrimmage because our colors are blue and white. And so we were scrimmaging ourselves. And I'm probably 5 yards away from the line, right?
Yeah.
I look at him and he is dead on looking at me. And he like starts laughing and I'm like, oh no. Because you got to run 5 yards and wrap up the guy. Well, he didn't slow down. He ran through me and shoulder checked right here. So he puts me down. He looks at me and I'm like, and you're like, you're good? I'm like, you knocked the wind out of me. So I'm like having to breathe and I'm like, it doesn't hurt or anything. Like, it didn't hurt.
It's just you got
He hit me in a weird spot that I was like, I couldn't like catch my breath. And I walked past my coach. He's like, and my coach looks at Tristan. And Tristan is dying over there because both of us knew what we were going to do. And so I walked back to the line and the person turns around and is like, you all right? And he's like, I'm like, yeah, Tristan didn't slow down one bit and he hit me right in the lung. And so that was probably the worst time just because the wind got knocked out of me. And I'm in pads too. They're like tight.
Yeah.
And so like it's harder to catch my breath.
Yeah.
Or the worst time is when I didn't have a helmet on. This is stupid of me. I didn't have a helmet
Did you
on.
fight a goat?
No. No. So there was like a 3-man sled that you had to push in and then you could lift up. Well,
yeah, I hit those.
I was out for knee injury because my knees were really bad. And so I try and do it with no pads, nothing.
Oh,
but I lead with my head like an idiot.
Yep, that'll do it to you.
And I'm sitting there the rest of the day like, oh my. My head is pounding. So I go home and tell my mom. And she's like, do you have a concussion? And I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
Nothing bothers me. Like my head hurts really bad. And she goes, let's go to the doctor. So we go to the doctor. And it's just like, they're just like, I mean, you got very lucky. You like are teetering on the line of concussion. So you don't have to like not look at screens. You can go to school. Lights don't bother you. Don't hit your head. And I was like, you got it, boss.
You got it, buddy.
And I never did that again without a helmet on.
Here's my quick concussion story. You ready?
Yeah.
I was playing football. Got hit really hard by a big dude. And I like stood up. I didn't know this at the time, but I know this now. No, I stood up and I was like...
Yeah,
like cartoon, like
seeing actual stars.
And then my coach like pulled me out. And he goes, "Hey, you all right?" You were like, you looked a little dazed. And I was like, "No, coach, I'm good." You put me back in. He goes, "Okay," and I'm like,
"You come back in."
I like dazedly walked in. He goes, "It pulled me back out before I even got to play." He goes, "You're out." And so I went to take the little test that we had at our trainers. And they were like, well, we don't know for sure whether or not you have one. Okay, so go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor. And my doctor, who has done surgery on me, he looks at me after doing all the tests and everything. He goes, well, I don't want to say you don't have a concussion, but I also don't want to say that you do. And I was like, okay. He's like,
sure.
Well, because you might. But you also might not. So treat it like you do. You could have just said, yeah.
I'd say you probably just got your bell rung really bad, so you're just kind of like, oh my.
But that was 2 days later.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was just like, I don't want to say that you have one, but I also don't want to say that you don't. It's like, well, thanks, doc. I shouldn't have let you inside of my body to do repairs.
That's kind of how my hospital visit was.
Yeah.
Because, like, my stomach, like, you both know the stomach problems I've had.
Yeah.
You guys probably remember the time I put, like, midnight. I'm like, hey, I'm at the hospital right now. Can you pray for me? And
I read that when you sent it, if that says anything.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was currently in the waiting room freaking out because I'm like, please don't be appendicitis. Please don't be appendicitis.
Dude,
And,
weight reduction.
well, but the...
That is crazy.
What are you trying to say, Nick?
I have an appendicitis story. Sorry.
Well, no. So, like, I'm texting the person that were we together?
Shall not be named.
Yeah, I just don't want to say her name out of respect.
Lord Voldemort.
Well, so
Better than that.
that's rude, but okay.
Well, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, but
it's a joke. I'm not.
Yeah,
saying
no, I get it's a joke.
I'm not saying she's Lord Voldemort. I'm just.
but like
sure.
we're texting back and forth, and she's like, "It could be appendicitis. You might have to have surgery now." And I hate needles, doctor, surgery. It all freaks me out. Like if I have to go in for a needle, I'm like, "You better do it now." Like, do it right now.
You better put me under first.
I genuinely asked, like, can I be put under for, like, anything so I don't have to see a needle go in me? And they're like, no. And I was like, okay.
It just grabs chloroform out of pocket.
But, so, I'm sitting in the waiting room. My knees are bouncing I'm, like, bouncing myself off the chair. And my mom is like, my mom is mad. She's angry. Because she's like, you could have just taken Tums. You could have just taken Tums. And I'm like, Mom, I can't stand up. Like I can't stand up. And so we go in the thing. I'm watching Deadpool because they're taking so long. And she comes in with the IV. She looks at this arm. He's like, no. So she moves my bed away, puts the IV in there. They do a bunch of tests. They give me a concoction that numbed my esophagus all the way down to my stomach. And I looked at her and I was like, this does the charm. I'm gonna need some more to take home. And she goes, unfortunately I can't do that. And I was like, why not? And she goes, because these are our chemical, or like our, not chemicals, but like our medicine. And I was like, dang, I could really use that every day. And so I go to the x-ray machine just to make sure there's nothing wrong. And they're like, you're fine. And I'm like,
oh, still fine.
So why does my stomach hurt? And they're like, oh no, go home. All right. Then they're like, give me $3,000. I'm like, okay. So I'm still paying the medical bill off just for the doctor to tell me, you're perfectly fine.
You're okay.
Yeah, like,
Walk it
thanks.
off. Throw some dirt in it.
You know what makes me so angry? The next morning, I was fine. Completely fine.
Can I tell my appendicitis?
Yeah. You can absolutely tell your
I don't want to overtake, but also
no, you're totally good, man.
It's such a great story.
They're getting to know us.
So, my buddy Caleb, you guys remember Caleb? He's come to the gathering before. Real tall, real tall.
I think so. Yeah.
Like built like a stick. No offense.
If you're watching, no offense.
I'd say it to his face.
I'm sure you would.
He's my best friend. We grew up together. So Caleb and I played lacrosse together in high school. I quit playing football and I started playing lacrosse in high school. And so we're playing, and we're getting ready to start going into the tournament, essentially. Like start playing, and if we win the next game, we go to the semifinal, like that sort of deal. And we're playing in a game, and he's like, "Man, I feel horrible right now." He's like, "I felt bad yesterday, and I feel bad now." Finished the game, went to the doctor, had appendicitis, got the surgery. I mean, he had appendicitis playing lacrosse with it.
That could have been. He could have died on the field.
If he would have, so I think he left just before the end of the game. Like he was like, I gotta go, and he left, and then got the surgery. And if he wouldn't have, he would have died. Like that's how close it was. He came back, he recovered so quickly, and played the next game, like literally the next week.
I don't know if I would have. I would have said
I think it was like a Thursday, and then he played the game on like a Tuesday. Like literally,
I probably would have sat out a week at least.
And he made the joke weight reduction. He's like, dude, I'm faster now. I got weight reduction. But
we've totally just side railed off.
Yeah,
of
it's okay. We can cut it.
Nah, why would we
leave
cut
it in?
We just leave it in.
Just us talking about medical issues.
Yeah, just medical issues.
Oh my.
I mean, because the whole point of this was just to say what this is going to be about.
It'll be very different from the way it is right now.
Yeah, we'll actually
it'll have a bit more direction.
Once episode 1 drops, you'll see this is just us kind of. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it's true. Us goofing off.
Yeah, it's absolutely what we're doing.
I mean, we're just having
the bleep.
Yeah, because this is going to be. God is going to be more into it. We didn't start out with prayer. We're going to start out with prayer every time.
Maybe you should just lay out the what an episode's going to roughly look like.
Yeah. So basically, at least for right now, it's not set in stone. We're not Moses. We don't have two tablets.
You have to break the first set.
Oh yeah. Do you have stone on you?
Man, I left that in the car.
Sorry, bud.
Oh man, looks like we're going to have to break my table that my dad graciously made. But so basically, start of the episode, we say hey, do all that, and then we will just start off with prayer. Every time, yeah, you're good. You don't have to ask. We will probably just ask how the week was going, because I'm sure we'll probably do it towards the end of a week.
Yeah, we'll just catch up.
Yeah, and so we'll say how a week went, what we did. Probably talk about the gathering, if it was the day after the gathering. Yeah. And then we will go into probably another segment. These are not in order. It won't be in this exact order, other than the prayer at the very beginning and the very end.
Yeah, it's just a very rough idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a rough outline for right now.
And then starting on episode 1, I think we've probably decided that we're just going to start from Genesis 1.
1-1.
Yeah.
1-1.
And just kind of take it from there.
And just kind of take it from there. We're still deciding on books or segments. I think we're just going to do books until like maybe Psalms. We'll break into like 2 or 3
I
weeks.
was gonna say we can do like when it gets to an area that we feel like might need to change, we can discuss that and then move from there. But like for the first several.
It also very well could be you go book by book.
Yeah, I mean like that would be
just
totally
say,
fun.
so yeah, in the book of Genesis, like this is the basic, like these are some of the, you could very much be like that. Or the biggest thing you learned from reading Genesis.
Yeah, like going over stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So like episode 1, creation story. That'll probably be a really big focus of the Bible segment, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. We won't have guests every time, but we'll also near the beginning we'll give the guests time to
introduce themselves.
They'll probably be sitting where Nick is sitting right now.
It's a pretty nice seat.
It is. I'm a little wide for those. But that's why I'm sitting on. That's why you'll always see me on one of these 2 sides of this couch. But yeah, so we'll talk about sports, life.
You could fit if you got the appendicitis.
You probably. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not. It's jokes. I get it. And yeah, so we'll just. I'm sure in episode 1 we'll probably also go in more depth about how he came to God.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good episode 1 worthy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're just episodes in general.
Yeah, we're just like
we'll
you'll get to
expound
know
upon
us
ourselves as we go along.
Yeah, you'll get to know us as episodes go on.
It might even be like you have one episode a month that is the book of Genesis.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like one or 2 episodes that are just a book of the Bible. Then the other ones are, hey, we have this guest, we're going to talk about what they do, who they are, like things like that.
Yeah.
That way the podcast doesn't end up being like 3 hours long.
Yeah. I say I think I'm going to try and keep it between 1 and 2 hours.
Yeah, that's good.
That's probably a reasonable.
It keeps sounding like your door's open.
I know, because when someone opens this door right here, my door shakes. Yeah. I know it's a weird setup.
It's totally
my apartment.
It's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's better than literally anything else we got. So
because I thought about me and him discussed his basement, but then we were just like, it'd probably look better with that in the background.
Yeah. And my basement isn't also a logistics.
Well, you guys are also renovating a few things too.
Yeah.
So
we got some stuff going on.
We could do it in my studio. But it would just be like blank walls and foam panels.
Blank walls.
Foam panels.
Well, because like I just did this because this is there.
Lights. Yeah. No, it looks good. I mean,
I was gonna say
works.
this is a nice place. Like it's nothing bad.
It's a great place.
But yeah, so we'll have Bible segments. If we have a guest,
we'll obviously focus on that.
We'll focus on them, how they came to God, or something like that.
Yeah, and whatever we're kind of planning on, whatever topics we're kind of going through that week.
Yeah, and it's like, we'll talk about, for recent events, just an example, like we might talk about the election in episode 1. I don't really think we will, but
not.
Probably not.
But
maybe some of the issues people have with it and how.
Well, no, I was just saying as a more recent example of something.
Yeah, just as a current event.
Yeah, like
in terms of current
hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just gonna be a chill podcast. We're not gonna. No offense to all the podcasters out there, you're doing a great job in what you think works. This is a time to, number one, thank God for everything. And number 2, just to have fun.
You could say it's an undesignated time of worship.
It is an undated. We started like the gathering. This is an
designated
words.
Sorry, I look. It's okay. I've led the gathering for a while. I know
you guys. I'm not a leader.
I'm not a leader. No, you are a leader, Cam. That's why you're here.
I try to be.
You are a leader.
I try to help.
You don't have to try to be because you are.
I was gonna say you just are.
My heart, I'll do everything in my power. I have a really bad habit of helping someone, even if it destroys me.
Yes.
I have the same one.
I
think that's just called man.
I was gonna,
It might be, yeah.
that is called the self-sacrifice instinct that is built into men.
Yeah.
I think that is just man.
Yes.
Because, like, I will genuinely give my heart out to the wrong people. And even if I know they're the wrong people, I'm not pointing any names. I'm not even, that's not even like a hinting at anything. That is genuinely me saying I'm not pointing anyone out.
I'm sorry, but when you first said that, I'm not pointing any names.
Yeah.
I was like,
No, it's nothing.
It's genuinely.
Yeah, it's just I give my heart out to everyone because I care about everyone, even if they've hurt me. I mean, I got bullied every year through school. I still hope that every person who bullied me through high school is doing amazingly right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just a time to hang out, whether you're driving, just listening to us goof off and talk about God, or whether you're at home, you don't know what to watch, and you're like, I'll watch the Unbound Path. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Because like this, obviously this is going on YouTube. Because if you
Eating
do
lunch.
Spotify, you can't really see us.
Actually, Spotify has this thing now for video podcasts.
Do they actually?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. No,
I
my
don't
church
use-
uses it actually.
I don't use
Oh,
Spotify.
really?
Yeah. They use it. You can watch all of the sermons and actually watch them while it's because we used to just do it in podcast form, so you can listen back to the sermons. Because a lot of people post them on YouTube, but it's nice to have them on Spotify.
Yeah.
And now they can post it with video.
That's really cool.
It's really
So
cool.
you
It's
might be
really
able to
low
see
qual-
this.
It's not really low quality, but it's lower quality video because it's a
Spotify.
streaming platform. It's like it's a. Audio.
But I do recommend YouTube.
I was gonna say they weren't originally designed with that in mind.
No. But I do recommend YouTube because then you get to see us.
They also don't really do audio very well. Spotify.
Yeah, I never really, like, I listened to like one podcast on Spotify, but then I switched over to the Apple one.
Yeah.
It's because I bought my own phone and started paying for my own things like a good adult.
Well,
Good job, gentleman.
yeah,
Thank
good
you,
job.
Gentleman. Let's go! The
go.
Gentleman!
Let's go.
That's a great podcast name.
The Gentleman! I don't know, I do kind of like the Unbound Path.
No, I'm saying for another podcast.
Oh, for another podcast?
For something entirely different.
It's about being a man of God. And it's called The Gentleman.
But it's us three still.
In the same place.
In the same room. And
It's just
everything.
Jack and I switch spots.
Oh!
No, it's a you go there, you go here, I go there.
Just rotate it. Well, then we need another one.
Yeah.
We'll figure that one out on the Gentleman podcast.
On the
Gentleman.
Gentleman. Look out for the Gentleman.
Look out for coming soon to a podcast.
Look out for the Gentleman.
Look out for the Gentleman. That's what I want to be for Halloween.
It's the Christian John Wick.
He shoots people with holy water.
Gentleman.
He like flings holy water on
The power of Christ compels you.
Carries a crucifix around.
It's ghost hunting, but it's just a pastor.
It's just a pastor. Just goes around, exercises things.
Like just starts lifting weights. I know. I'm kidding. Joke.
That is exactly where my mind went to. He's just lifting.
Cranking iron.
Christ!
Some abandoned building, just like yeah.
Something moves. Go away, ghost. I'm cranking iron.
I'm cranking iron.
You Satan
No.
don't want to mess with
Did
you.
someone say ghost hunting?
I pictured it. I pictured it being like the Gentleman, and it's John Wick style, but it's just like underground churches in China.
Why China?
I think that's because I have a lot. I know a lot of people who've done underground
Underground
churches
churches
in
in
China, and how crazy it can be.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it sounds like a movie, like a spy movie. Because they're like, yeah, no, they decided they were going to raid the building that we were in, so we snuck out the back door, but then one person was left behind, forgot their Bible, so they went back through the other side while they were like all this crazy stuff that's going on. And so in my brain, I was like, the Gentleman, and it's like a
Gentleman.
pastor, but I pictured him in like the full, what's it called? Like the black with like the little
the
white
suit?
yeah, like the little suit.
I have all John Wick movies. Like I own all four.
But that's what I pictured the guy.
Yeah.
But he's like he's like handing out Bibles to kids on the street. He's like,
don't the kid right in the face.
No, he's wearing a trench coat, so he looks like a drug dealer. He opens his coat, he's just like, here's the word.
He walks up like, hey kid.
I got pocket Bibles. I've got the
He's got your butt Bible.
the butt Bible.
That's what I called it in my head when you described the first time. I was like, it's the butt Bible.
The butt Bible. I carry a Bible in my back pocket.
Yeah, I call it the butt.
It's a decent sized Bible for a back pocket.
You carried it downtown. Yeah. We explained all that in the test episode just for no one to see that.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
We can clip out parts.
Yeah, we can add parts. I mean, whatever.
I was gonna say whatever our Mr. Editor over there feel comfortable with.
Yeah. We eventually will have a profile picture for this as well. Right now it's a C. Because I originally accidentally put it as Cam and Jack. So it took the C. And I was like, oh wait, I need to change that.
I need to change that.
What?
So it just has a C on our YouTube channel right now.
Beautiful.
But yeah.
You'd be surprised how many YouTube channels I have that are just a single letter as the profile picture.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure that like you don't upload on them though.
There are a significant number that have been and then been
taken down. That's kind of what I did with mine. I used to have like a bunch of things, but it was from when I was like middle school. So I rewatch them, and my voice is way up here,
Dude,
and I can't stand it.
I have okay. This is actually a really cool idea. I'm proud of this one. I took it down, but I'm still proud. I have the video still.
What's the timer at on that?
That is an excellent question. Let's go figure it out.
Probably about an hour, judging by.
I don't know.
It should be the top where you're left.
Right
if it's at the top.
Oh, it is probably there, isn't it?
Well, we can just start closing it out.
Yeah, I say we can just.
Yeah.
That is, I paid $20 for this.
I paid $20. Sorry. No, but real quick, the video that I made, I was like, I think I was in 6th grade, something like that, 5th or 6th. And the video idea was I had lost the cap to my water bottle. Just wait. And so I had to find a way to seal my water bottle. So
Super glue.
what I did is I filled up a water balloon and set it.
There's no way you just set up a water balloon just to take it off and go everywhere.
What? Just wait.
Watch, you're not gonna do it here.
That falls out water balloon.
I actually brought a demonstration.
Filled in my pocket the whole time.
Just tie it off so you untie it.
No. So Phil
First. Just on your computer and everything.
No, filled with water and tied off. Set it on top of the.
Oh, it's not even around it. I thought it was around it.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Just give me.
Just wait. And then, so I set it and I set it out there, and the video was first like the empty water balloon, and then it cut to me. I think I was laying on the ground or something, like laying there, and I went, if you ever lose a cap to your water bottle, just put a water balloon on top of it, and then I shot it with a BB gun, and it popped, and the latex opened up and around and sealed it. And then you could hold it upside down and it would seal.
It's actually pretty genius.
And ever lose a water? I think I like slid behind the water bottle and it was like, ever lose a cap to your water bottle? Just put a water balloon on top of it and shoot it with an airsoft gun. And that was the whole video.
Voila, your sealed water bottle. Now, how to drink it? That's on you.
You were the OG of life hacks.
DIYs.
Yeah. So that was.
But yeah,
that's my water bottle.
Trick.
For all
I made a Lego shark film that I uploaded.
That's ridiculous.
I love the idea that you think that I just had a water balloon and just stretched it over. And that was the thing that I told you just a second ago I was proud of.
Yeah. I imagine when I said...
Just, like, 12-year-old me putting a water balloon
over the thing. Well, I imagine...
It's a cap.
Look at it. It's just like jiggling. That looks so wrong. I'm sorry. I imagine just a water balloon in your pocket, and you step wrong, and it goes. It just. That'd be hilarious. But yeah.
I've been drinking water. That's a bad idea.
As you can see, this podcast is going to be great.
That's what I'm saying.
This is very different from what I'll actually.
Oh yeah.
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 No, they'll definitely be serious parts. Your computer now has a thing of woods on it. There we go.
Anyways.
It's so.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah. Should we close?
Yeah. So with that, we can kind of close it out now. So yeah, I mean that's welcome to us and the chaos that will ensue.
The Unbound path.
The Unbound path. So yeah. So again, just to reiterate, we're going to be doing this.
Bless you.
Relatively frequently whenever we can. Goal is God centric. We'll be going through again like cultural topics we want to talk about, the Bible itself, God at the center. We'll be praying in and out of things and just kind of going through life together. Obviously us three, and then with you guys online. Obviously we'll be doing life with you guys as well, and we can again. Right now, like Cam said, he's going to be setting up the prayer requests and testimonies things, but like feel free to leave those in the comments or anything like that.
You don't even have to use the email.
Yeah, you don't even have to, but just like if you want to, obviously. But
I feel like that'd be more like a private. Like if you want something privately.
Yeah.
Because like once we get more like prayer requests, we'll read them on here if you would like it. But if you also just want us to pray for you in private, if it's something personal, just email that email.
Yeah. So with that, once again, Cam, there's Cam, there's Nick, I'm Jack, and this is the Unbound Path.
Co-host
slash
producer.
No, producer / co-host.
There you go.
I'm sure Ellen will be part of your team.
We're just gonna keep adding co to every single person who gets added onto here.
We eventually get to like the 6th.
This is our guest, our co.
Our co.
This is our co to the 10th power host.
Co to the 10th power. I'm not that smart. You can't say that around me.
What does that mean?
I haven't been to school in years.
My brain is an enigma.
My brain is an enigma.
All
Shall
right.
we close in prayer?
Yeah,
Close in
we'll
prayer,
close with
yeah.
prayer. Yeah. All right. So do anyone want to kick it off?
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Lord, I just thank you for this time that we have together, and for this vision that you've placed on Cam's heart, and flooded his mind with, that we are here and are able to just worship you in this way and both teach and learn about you and who you are and everything that you're doing, Lord. Would you just bless this time as this is our intro to the next however long and the next however many episodes. Lord, would you bless every episode that follows this one?
Yeah.
That anything that is not of you would be scrubbed from the recording miraculously. Yes. And that everything of you would just be amplified and heard by whoever needs to hear it, Lord. It is by your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. So yeah, we will see you guys on episode 1.